Yeah, looks like they back for a fifth season, man. Who that? Sports Roundtable.
Sports Roundtable live from the SRT studios overlooking Atlantic Station, and it is another week. Sports Roundtable with the SRT crew.
I think it was more than one team that benefited, to be honest with you. There was a lot of shit. I think some conferences benefited. Yeah, some benefited and some lost out. Pac-10 looks like they could be on the outside, looking in. I think what this past weekend did is bring Ohio State back to prominence. They were one of the teams I thought about. Oklahoma and Notre Dame, to be honest with you. Those are teams that pretty much may have been left for dead a little bit this year. Oklahoma State also.
Yeah. So
the Big 12 actually got a reprieve. Notre Dame got a foot back, got a leg up. So if you want to say a couple of teams that benefited, I would say those teams definitely.
Question number 2, mid-season awards, D. Will, the most disappointing player for the college football season thus far.
Yeah, this is one mid-season award you really don't want to receive, just to be honest. But for player by far for me is the preseason Heisman pick, USC quarterback Sam Darnold. Mr. Darnold has 9 interceptions already through 6 games this season. He had 9 interceptions all of last year. All right, and now he was the runaway pick for Heisman Trophy, and just because he does have a very talented squad around him, but for some reason this year he's been unable to put it together. And like Han just said, he can have a big week this week coming up playing Notre Dame. That'll be a big win if he can get it done and have good numbers. But right now for me, it's by far Sam Darnold's most disappointing player.
And I'll start with you, D. Will. Your thoughts on the first night of the NBA that we have been looking so forward to getting to this season, based on all of these trades and things of that nature?
To be honest with you, the excitement was very high pre-game, all right? Leading into the first game, which was Cleveland and Boston, which has all the dramas of a Hollywood soap opera set, all right? This is Days of Our Lives being played out at 8 o'clock at night on a Tuesday night. But the surprising part was the high level of basketball that was being played. Both games came down to the wire. They were interested and they kept you engaged. It was some high-level plays. And, 5 minutes into the Cleveland game, as we already mentioned, Gordon Hayward breaks his ankle in one of the most gruesome injuries we've seen in the NBA, in an NBA game. And that kind of put a somber mood on the night. It took away some of the luster. And to be honest with you, I think it really, really, really took away the build-up that the NBA was trying to build, this rivalry between Boston and Cleveland. Once Hayward got hurt, you saw all that go out the door. You saw most Cleveland players stepping down to pray. You saw them going over to him, wishing him well. So it kind of put a damper on the NBA's narrative to make this Boston hates Cleveland type of thing, especially with Kyrie making the comments prior to the game, hey, I'm in Boston. I'm finally in a sports town. So it was a lot they could have built up. But for the product on the court last night, it was very good. Both games. The games tonight are even better.
Your thoughts on the NBA first night?
Well, my thoughts were basically the same as a real bad, way to start the season.
Right.
Hope it's not an omen of things or what's the word? Harbinger of things to come. How about y'all like that? Let's hope it doesn't, this doesn't continue, man. We want to have everybody as healthy as possible. I did see some good things out of Boston. I would have loved to have seen them kind of grow with Hayward because
I can't tell from your text last night.
But hey, they picked it up in the second half, and they do play. A good brand of basketball, and they play defense. That's the one thing. I was real impressed with Marcus Smart, to be honest with you. I have been kind of hot and cold on him. But to see him, he picked it up last night.
Second week in a row, I'm going Homer because the man is lighting it up. And that's going to be running back for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Damian Harris.
They will have a TV on the loop. Hey, it's some more teams out there.
No, but when the guy is playing like this, you gotta give him his props.
Get up,
He is a baller. This week he goes 9 carries, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns, 13.9 average per carry. The guy is averaging 10.3 yards per carry on the season. All right. He needs to start getting some Heisman love.
The officiating crew of the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. One of the worst calls I have ever seen in my life.
Yes.
I don't know what a catch is.
Yeah.
He caught the ball, and yeah, it came loose, but he got control and hit the pylon. What happens when you hit the pylon with
Touchdown.
the football? And so the play ends no matter
Period.
what, right?
No matter what.
If you break the plane with a football, they can slap it out of your hands, right?
It doesn't matter.
Everything is over as soon as you cross the goal line or hit the pylon, right?
Yeah.
Why is that not a touchdown? When you overturn a call, there's supposed to be definitive, undisputable evidence that you don't have control of the ball. I've seen every angle, and I cannot tell where he did not have it. You see what I'm saying? Crossing the goal line or hitting the pylon. You can't see it, so you can't overturn it. That's
my buster of the week goes to the formerly undefeated Washington Huskies. They just laid an egg or rotten egg or whatever their grade is.
all over themselves.
On their face and hands. Arizona State was giving up 36.4 points per game. They had not given up less than 30 this season, and they held Washington to 7. And they had given up 30 points in 11 straight games, which was the longest streak in the nation.
Wow.
And with Washington, they were averaging 43 points a game. They managed
7. And they got that in the fourth quarter.
With 5 minutes.
Pitiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a real buster for real.